Yo, 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 yo. What up? I'm Tony Tone, and what we're talking about today is the Sony A1 Mark II. And the big question is, that's on everybody's minds is, should you upgrade to the new A1 Mark II? But the real question is, what happens if you don't? Let's talk. So, it's out. It's long awaited. It's been 3 years since the last iteration, and now it's finally here. A lot of people are upset actually about the lack of innovation. Well, let me talk about why not only should you upgrade, why you must upgrade. Well, why I must upgrade. I don't know about you, but anyway, let's think about it for a minute. Sony came out with the A1 Mark II, and it was mind-bogglingly, is that a word? Mind-bogglingly, anyway, I'm going to say it anyway. Mind-bogglingly good. This camera, 30 frames per second, 50 megapixels, the whole spiel. Flash sync speeds, everything. Everything that you could want in a flagship camera, the A1 offered it. 8K video. Oh my goodness. Amazing, amazing, amazing camera. But then shortly after, the problem was the sensor was fine, but the new processing chip not too long after, I guess it's not Sony's fault that the technology is what it is, and AI just started exploding after that. So Sony came out with a new processor that allowed the newer cameras after the A1 to get updated technology. Okay. But because the A1 didn't have that processor, firmware updates were impossible. So as frustrated as we as A1 owners were, we could not get the newest latest. Now, keep that in mind. I did not get the A9 III that was innovative. I did not get the A7R5 that had that new technology. I'm certainly not going to get these. I'm not buying a compact camera. Forget about it. That's not what I do. And I'm certainly not going to trade in my A1 for a ZV-10 because it has the latest technology. I'm going to either wait for the new firmware updates, which the Sony were not able to have, or I'm going to upgrade. Or not. If the A1 is as good as it is now, I'm sorry, if the A1 is going to fit my workflow now, then why upgrade? That's a fair standpoint. However, there is an answer to that question. Why upgrade? Because sometimes it's not just about innovation. Okay, if I don't upgrade, I still have the technology of the A1 today. The fact of the matter is, the A9 Mark III has the new AI autofocus technology. It has that new processing chip. The A7R5 has that new technology. It has that new processing chip. Even the ZV-1 has that new technology. It has that new processing chip. That technology is out there. Other brands have this AI autofocus that is really killing the game right now. The A1 doesn't have it. So if I get salty with Sony for not putting that new technology, because it's a matter of physics. You can't just do it. You don't have that processor. So I'm going to get salty. I don't want to upgrade. I convinced myself that this camera is fine now, and it's going to wait for 3 more years for the A1 Mark III to come out. Well, that's 3 more years of me not being familiar with that technology. That doesn't make sense to my workflow, and that's not wise for me to wait that long before I get even familiar with that technology. By that time it's old. There's going to be even newer technology out. So I have to upgrade. We ought not be hypnotized by this desire that every new camera upgrade must be innovative, as opposed to what works for our workflow. We have to make a distinction between innovative upgrades and workflow upgrades. What do I need that's going to make my workflow better, as opposed to what I would like to have? What I need to have versus what I would like to have. AI autofocus. Does the A1 in its current form have it? No. Will it benefit my workflow? Yes. The flippy, dippy, twirly, swirly rollout screen. Does the A1 have it now? No. Will it benefit my workflow? Absolutely. Dynamic stabilization. Does the A1 have it now? Will it fit my workflow? Absolutely. So these things that is already out, and now they're going to be in the A1 Mark II, that's a beneficial upgrade. That's significant. That's a big deal. I need to have it if I'm going to keep current, if I'm going to stay competitive. Now, let's talk about the things that people like that are innovative, like the global shutter bringing in 120 frames per second. Would I like to have it? Absolutely. Do I need that for my workflow? Not really. Not really. The 8K 60, if I'm being honest, I don't need that. I would like to have it, sure. And yes, there is an argument, and it's a fair argument. You're paying all this money for a camera, other camera brands have it, then Sony should have it. Absolutely, that's a legitimate argument. But when, in the cosmic scheme of things, when it all is said and done, will that interrupt my workflow? Not at all. I don't even use 8K 30 that much at this current rate. And I don't see in the near future, I don't see TV screens having 8K. I mean, they do have it, but they're very, very rare. I think that 4K is around for at least the next iteration of the A1. So yes, it's a matter of would like to have as opposed to I need to have. Raw video. Now, for the professional videographers, they're using the A1 to go back and forth for video and photography. I think if you're a professional videographer, you're going to get a video-centric camera. So the RAW would benefit you in a camera that's not the A1. However, to have it is a great, great thing. And I can see where that would fit other people's workflow, not mine. So yes, I would like to have it. However, I'm not crippled. I'm not paralyzed if I don't.
How much is everything I just said worth?
Is it justifiable to spend another $6,500?
At the price point it is at, does it even make sense?
But it is certainly priced wrong, and I think Sony made a mistake here. What do you think about the price?
I made a video once justifying the price of the A1 Mark I. And I stand by everything that I said. However, I also must recognize the fact that Canon and Nikon even got really, really aggressive in their pricing of the R5 and the Z9. They brought those prices down, putting Sony in a tricky spot. It was very clever of them if they did it on purpose. Now Sony has their flagship camera at this high price point, and the R5 and even the R5 Mark II now is at a substantially lower price, and they offer a good amount of features that will give the A1 a run for its money. However, the R1, the Canon R1 is finally out. That camera is $6,000, almost $6,300, which is only $200 cheaper than the A1. Nobody's complaining about that price. I don't hear anybody complaining about the $6,300 of the R1. But I do hear them complaining about the $6,500. I don't know why that is. I don't know what that is all about. But I will say this, that the A1 is certainly competitive with the R1. And if we're going to complain about the A1 price, we need to carry over that same criticism, that same judgment for the R1. The only thing I will say about that is maybe Canon reviewers are giving it a pass because Canon also offers the R5 Mark II at a substantially lower price. So they do have a competitive camera at a lower price. But in comparing it to their flagship, which Canon is calling the R1 their flagship, Sony's calling the A1 their flagship, the point kind of gets lost. And with regard to price, if I wait 3 years, the value of the A1 that I have now would be pennies. Anyway, hopefully this information has some kind of value to you, or at least some entertainment. Either way it goes, these are my thoughts. I'm Tony Tone, and that's what I have to say. See ya, but don't forget, you can't be better by being the same. Peace!
This is how it should be done.